People often say the past is in the past, but some mistakes feel impossible to forget. For some, these moments fade quickly, but for others, they become a living reality. One such person is Thorfinn. Through his eyes, Vinland Saga not only challenges us to explore his pain, but also invites us to confront our own. We often focus on characters like Thorfinn for their battles, scars, and rage. But beneath the bloodshed lies a deeply human story, one that delves into healing from trauma and redefining your purpose in a world that feels shattered. In a time where battles define a man, how does someone like Thorfinn, someone who has lost everything, find peace? And more importantly, what can his story, what can his journey teach us about our own? Hi, I am Rizaza, and today we're diving into Thorfinn's psyche to uncover not just his story, but also how trauma affects us and how we might overcome it. Vinland Saga is widely praised for its epic narrative, complex characters, and deep themes. But many miss the psychological depth woven into Thorfinn's journey. Yes, the battles are thrilling. Trust me, I was really hyped as well. But beyond the action, the show intricately weaves real-world principles into its story. From the brutal first season to the awakening of the second, we find reflections of ourselves in Thorfinn's struggles. Thorfinn's life begins in a peaceful Icelandic village with a loving family and a father, Thors, who embodies the philosophy of peace. His early years are picture perfect: food, safety, love, everything Maslow's hierarchy suggests for thriving. But as a kid, Thorfinn is more interested in adventure than in his father's lessons about peace. His dreams of heroism overshadow those ideals which quietly sit in the background, waiting for their moment. The moment Thorfinn sneaks into his father's warship is when everything changes. Ecstatic about the adventure, he witnesses his father's murder right in front of him at the hands of Askeladd. One minute, he's a carefree kid. The next, his world is drenched in blood. This is where Thorfinn's real psychological journey begins. Thrown into a violent world, Thorfinn loses his father, his secure attachment figure, and develops disorganized attachment. This trauma manifests in erratic behavior and a twisted sense of honor. He's trapped in a fight-or-flight response, his father's values pushed aside as he spirals into vengeance. Even though Thors is gone, his influence, fortunately, lingers. Thors' philosophy aligns with Carl Rogers' concept of the fully functioning person, someone open, self-aware, and authentic. But Thorfinn, blinded by rage, cannot see these lessons. Instead, he views them as a weakness. Torn between his father's ideals and the warrior he thinks he must become, Thorfinn spirals into an identity crisis. Enter Askeladd, a man who contrasts everything Thor stood for. He's ruthless, cunning, and pragmatic. Teaching Thorfinn that survival trumps honor, Thorfinn learns from him through what we call observational learning, absorbing not just the tactics of war, but Askeladd's cynicism and distrust as well. This shapes Thorfinn into a cold, detached figure, navigating life as a series of battles. But beneath the surface, Askeladd's influence creates a barrier to Thorfinn's growth, keeping him trapped in a cycle of anger and survival. Thorfinn's internal struggle is a perfect example of cognitive dissonance. He is torn between his father's peaceful ideals and Askeladd's brutal lessons. Thor taught him that a true warrior doesn't need a sword. while Askeladd taught him that power comes through survival and manipulation. This clash creates a mental tug-of-war, manifesting in Thorfinn's erratic behavior as he battles both external enemies and his internal dissonance. We meet a lot of people in our daily lives, be it online or face-to-face. However, it takes a person with a certain disposition and values in life that can influence change into ourselves. Einar's arrival in Thorfinn's life is a turning point. Einar isn't a warrior. He's just a man trying to make the best out of a bad situation, and through him, Thorfinn glimpses a life beyond violence. Einar's presence helps Thorfinn reconnect with the idea of community, shifting from survival to creation. Drawing on Adler's individual psychology, we see Thorfinn begin to overcome feelings of inferiority and helplessness. Einar helps him rediscover the value of connection, steering Thorfinn toward a more meaningful life. But Thorfinn's journey isn't without struggle. As we have seen, he's been through relentless battles, seen comrades fall, and taken countless lives. These experiences aren't just scars on his body, they are deep wounds in his mind. Every night, he is haunted by the faces of those he's killed, their lifeless eyes staring back at him in his dreams. Thorfinn's not just fighting external battles, he's battling with his own mind. The flashbacks, the guilt, the overwhelming sense of dread. These are all classic symptoms of PTSD, and they've got a tight grip on him. Thorfinn's struggle is a textbook case of Jung's concept of the shadow, our darker, repressed self, and it perfectly describes the part of Thorfinn that lashes out, recoils from connection, and keeps him trapped in anger. Jung believed that to truly heal, we have to confront this shadow. It's not enough to just bury these feelings or pretend they do not exist. Thorfinn has to face these darkest parts of himself if he ever hopes to move forward. Thorfinn's journey isn't about finding a magic solution that suddenly makes everything better. It's about the slow, painful process of accepting who he is and what he's done, and finding a way to live with that. He's got to learn to coexist with his memories, to see that they are a part of his story, but not the basis of who he is. This process, while grueling, is the only way forward. Thorfinn's transformation from a vengeful warrior to a man seeking peace is not just about external change. It is certainly an internal battle, one where he has to reconcile with his own shadow. It is a reminder that the path to healing is never straightforward, but with persistence and the right support, even the deepest wounds can begin to mend. Even today, when we've got mental health resources and therapy more accessible than ever, recovery still isn't easy. Now imagine trying to find peace in a world like Vinland Sagas, where your worth as a man is tied to how many battles you've won. Thorfinn's path to redemption is slow and painful, but it's about more than just finding peace. It's about redefining what strength means. It's about realizing that being a true warrior isn't about swinging a sword. It's about choosing to live with purpose and compassion. Thorfinn shows us that no matter how far you have fallen, there is always a way back, even if it's a long and difficult road. His story is a reminder that healing is possible, and that even the most broken people can find a way to put their pieces back together.